Hey everybody, today we're taking a trip to the Gothic beach. So throw on your trunk, your suits, and let's get ready for some water sports. I'm so glad you can make it by for today's video. You are looking real fine today, okay? Is that a new dress? No, what is that? Oh, those are your PJs. Well, you're still looking fly. Okay. Now, I ordered the full bundle from JeffreeStarCosmetics.com. I think this has everything from the collection in it. As soon as you open the box, there's this iconic print of a gigantic coffin and Jeffree Star inside of it. Okay, but when I'm buried, I want a coffin just like that, but I want it to be blue on the inside instead of pink. You guys remember that for me so you can remind Mark once I'm gone. You guys, I am so stoked. This collection has so many new products to the Jeffree Star Cosmetics line. We've got the brand new Beachproof Mascara. We've got the brand new Beachproof Mascara, the SPF 30 Facial SPF, the Vampire Blur and Cool Face Stick, the Beachproof Eyeliner in 4 shades, Lavender Whore, Drug Lord, Vampire Nude, and Gothic Beach, the Gothic Diamonds Extreme Frost Trio, of course the star of the show, the Gothic Beach Artistry Palette. I also got a free mini lipstick with my order. I don't know how I got one, I guess that was just the promo, but this one's in the shade Hot Rod Lin. It's like a super intense pinky fuchsia-y coral, maybe like strawberry melon kind of color. I realize packaging says nothing about the product and the formulation of the product inside, but I've just got to comment on the amount of detail on this palette. It feels like that's a literal sand, like grains of sand on here. The logo is smoothed out, the Gothic Beach words are smoothed out, but it still has that grainy texture that's amazing. Just spending the extra money and time on something like that as a brand just makes the overall collection that much better. Of course, we have the amazing trunk style palette for the Gothic Beach palette, and it's got a little PA ring right here. I honestly think I have this ring, just in a smaller size. Oh my god, it is removable. Wow, that is crazy. I cannot believe that that is a removable ring. That is so cool. Yep, sure enough, the ring pops right off, so you can put it in your pierced hole if you'd like. Now let's take a look at this color story IRL. Okay, so we're very warm, but we still have some fun colors in the middle. It's pretty deep and rich towards the bottom. You know, it's actually not as underwhelming as the pictures of it looked online. Because when I first saw this palette launch, I was honestly kind of disappointed because I was like, I feel like we have all of these shades already. But they're much richer in person, and I feel like we don't have quite exactly this color story in any other palette. You could probably get close with a couple of the palettes. I mean, I firmly believe that Bloodlust probably has some derivative of these purples, or at least you could make some derivative of those purples. Blood Money probably has a green that's close to that. Orgy probably has some of these warmer nudes up here. But that is one thing I can say about the Jeffree Star Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes. I have never, not once, seen a single shade be repeated. Sometimes they get close, but the undertone is usually different enough that to me it's justifiable. Take that for what you will, you know? You might not like that. Same thing for the packaging on this Gothic Diamonds palette. Everything in the background is embossed and raised. The Gothic Diamonds lettering is smoothed out. And how does she look on the inside? Whoa, okay, that is intense. I can tell just by looking at the pan that those are gonna be super, super reflective. Wait, which highlighting formula was this? These are the Extreme Frost. Okay, so these are more of the chunky, glittery ones. The middle one has all this purple and silver that's like marbleized, kind of. And then the shades on both sides are pretty much what's in the middle, it looks like. So it's almost like the middle shade is both shades combined, maybe? I don't know. To be honest, that's kind of wasteful. Why would you do that? Why would you make a third shade in the center that has both of the same shades from the outside in it? Just use the outside shades and combine them to make the shade you want. Regardless, it's freaking stunning. Definitely gotta swatch some of these, so let's swatch Bloodsucker Bling, Glimmer of Hope, and Summer Death. What a sad and unfortunate color story. Oh girl, those are beautiful. Aw, but that middle shade really does look like just both shades combined. Then for the Beachproof eyeliners, I was pleasantly surprised at how sharp the felt tip actually is. I normally like to go for a brush tip myself, but I don't mind using a felt tip if it is super sharp, and luckily these are. They're also very pigmented and very sharp. These do look identical to the ColourPop BFF liquid liners. I mean, the packaging is, I think it's the same package, to be honest. But that's not to say the formula is. Just researched it, and they are actually, in fact, not the same formula. The ColourPop formula has black, like the pigment, listed as the very last ingredient, meaning there's less black than there is anything else. The Beachproof eyeliner has black as the third ingredient on the list. That's pretty impressive, actually. If that's even how it works. I could be wrong. Maybe it's not listed in order. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in so we can get started on swatches. Anti-sunburn. Don't be a beach. Burnt out. Rusty anchor. Sunray slut. Sandcastle. Gothic yacht. Beach ball breaker. Oh buoy. Piranha pretty. Vixen vibration. Umbrella attitude. Glitter and gloom. Macabre manners. Parasol passion. Fishnet fix. Bite marks. SPF 666. And there we have it, all 18 shades from the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Gothic Beach Artistry Palette. As always, you know I won't leave you guys hanging. Here's some photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. And of course the video close-up you guys all know and love for all that detail and all the shimmery action. Alright, eyes are primed, hair's off the forehead, I'm ready to put some makeup on. And oh my gosh, you guys, I've been staring at this color story, trying to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do, because there are so many ways that you can go. Like, the palette's versatile enough that you can take it in a few different directions, but I'm just worried that once I take it in one of those directions, I won't be able to do my, you know, add on some random miscellaneous color that doesn't seem like it's gonna fit, but it ends up fitting in the end anyway, kind of vibe. I feel like I'm not gonna be able to do that. It's gonna just ruin what I've done. And I'm slightly terrified of that. I just know I'm gonna keep thinking and thinking and thinking and probably not do anything, so I'm gonna put Vixen Vibration on the outer half of the crease, which is what I'm gonna start with. We'll hope it turns out looking good. I don't know. Got you zoomed in, let's make some magic happen. My god, that is so vivid. That's definitely something with the Jeffree Star Cosmetics formula. They never fail to deliver on the pigment. I mean, look at that intensity. That's 2 dips into the palette. I think that's kind of the vibe I'm thinking so far at the beginning. And for the inner half of the crease, I'm gonna use Rusty Anchor. I feel like maybe that will be a really good contrast for the green because I have to use the green. The green is definitely gonna happen, but I'm trying really hard to not make this look like a Barney look. I don't want it to just be purple and green. So I'm hoping I can incorporate the green in a different and kind of unique way so it's not so Barney-y. But for now, Rusty Anchor is gonna go just on this inner half and be sort of my transition shade. That's like the perfect Your Lips But Better color. Oh yes, that green is gonna look so good by that shade. I totally messed up and grabbed the wrong brush to start blending Vixen Vibration into Rusty Anchor. Turns out I was using the Rusty Anchor brush while trying to blend out Vixen Vibration. So we've got this sort of pinky red tone right above the purple. And I'm only letting you know because it might possibly affect the next step, but I'm gonna go in with Burnt Out and use that to blend Rusty Anchor on the outer edge of the crease. Just with it being kind of pinky there now, I don't know how that's going to affect the brown in Burnt Out. Here's our moment of truth though, we'll know soon enough. So I'm using the 50-50 method, placing half on tacky base, half on previous shadow. We're just gonna place that all the way around on only the outer half of the crease, then start blending up toward the brow bone. I don't think that's gonna be too bad. It's interesting. I don't know if that's exactly what I was expecting. I still like it, I think. I think it's cute. I don't normally use like a rustic red brown beside a red based purple. There's a first for everything. Ooh, okay. The blend between those two though. Wow, that's a gorgeous color. Oh good. I was so afraid that whatever color they were gonna turn was not gonna be a cute color. Yeah. Vixen Vibration needs a little bit of work. But luckily Burnt Out is actually gonna pair with Vixen Vibration. We're gonna continue blending out these shades, both the inner corner and the outer corner, using the shade Anti-Sunburn. I feel like it's such a cute, like creamy pink color. Yes, that shade is perfect for this, which is great because there's not really a light enough shimmer shade to make a brow bone highlight or an inner corner highlight. So this is sort of gonna act like that. You know, just add a little bit more dimension to the look, create a little bit more contrast with the lightness and the dark. So it's just, you know, more dramatic. Of course, we could always go in with the highlighter on the brow bone in the inner corner. In fact, I might end up doing that because some sparkle up there on the brow bone would be pretty cute. But right now, we're just gonna fill it with a light creamy pastel-y pink. That blend is so seamless, you can't even tell that that's a shadow. It just looks like my skin until you look at it side by side. Then it's pretty obvious that it's not the same as this. To deepen everything, I'm gonna take the shade Fishnet Fix. Normally with the darker shade like this, I would take it just on the outer corner in the V, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull it all the way through to the inner corner of the crease. That way it'll be the darkest color, so I can cut the crease, put the green on, then cut the crease again. That is really dark. The beautiful purple, the beautiful purple. Da-da-da. That is a really rich purple, hella dark, but it's adding so much dimension to the crease. Now, just in case you don't know the drill, after the darkest shade is applied, we're gonna go right back in with the 2 blending brushes that we were using previously to apply Rusty Anchor in the inner corner, blend out the darker shade in the inner corner, then Vixen Vibration on the outer corner, and blend the outer half of that darker shade in with the rest of the shades. I love creating things with his formula. It's just wonderful to be able to know what to expect out of your eyeshadows. It's nice to know beforehand that you can pretty much do whatever you can think of and it's gonna work. It might not look good because you picked the wrong color stories, but the shadows will blend together. Got all the darkness applied, now it's time to cut the crease. So I'm gonna grab my micellar water and some pointed cotton swabs and do that off camera because it's gonna take a minute. Then cutting the crease once again using the P. Louise base. You know what time it is. It's shimmer time. And we're gonna start with the shade Macabre Manners, the silvery shade. Oh my gosh, that is so intense. His metallic formula is always so insane. Then beside Macabre Manners in the inner corner, I'm gonna go in with Glitter and Gloom on the center part of the lid. And this shade is so sparkly. Oh yeah. It is very sparkly. Then last on the outer corner to tie in the dark shimmer with the purple crease, I'm gonna use Umbrella Attitude. I feel like it's just enough of a mix between really dark and blue-based purple that we should end up with a really happy medium here. Yes, it's so good. It's sparkly and glittery, just like the grayish black shade in the center, so we can tie those together. And it's purple, so it brings that crease in, makes everything just a little more cohesive. And then finally, to finish that part off, gonna grab just a little more Fishnet Fix, the same shade I used in the crease, and just blend Umbrella Attitude with Fishnet Fix. That's really fun. It's gothic, it's vampy, but we've still got some autumnal color in the crease. Oh, and that green is gonna look so good. Let me finish the other eye so we can move on to the green. I need to see it. Now it's liner time. I love doing this with eyeshadows. It's such a fun sort of like DIY crafting experience, if you're into that sort of thing. So we're gonna take some of the shade Beach Ball Breaker, the green, and scrape some of it off onto my palette here. Then we're gonna take the Silk Naturals Line Drive Eyeliner Sealer, pump a couple of pumps onto the powder, and mix it all up and make our own little eyeliner. And we're just going to attempt to take this right to the bottom of this line right here and follow that cut crease all the way up. This is so cool. As it's drying more and more, it's getting lighter and lighter because obviously when a powder gets wet, it gets a little bit darker. That still applies with the Line Drive Eyeliner Sealer. While it's wet, it looks darker. Now it's coming back to be that vivid, bright, bold green that's in Gothic Beach. I'd also really like to use one, at least, of the Beachproof eyeliners, but I just don't know if any of them are gonna go over this super dark shadow. I feel like black would get completely lost, except for on the inner corner, because this is so close to black, it'll probably blend in. Pastel-y purple, I just feel like I'm gonna end up getting this felt tip disgusting and not even being able to cover everything. And the same thing goes for both the white and the peachy nude color. Let me experiment on the back of my hand and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got to admit, I stand corrected. All four of those liners actually worked over all three of the shimmer shades I've got on my lid. Now the applicator, the felt tip applicator, did get stained on all three of the lighter shades immediately afterward, but it's not really bad, and it didn't affect the pigment that was laid down the second time I laid down color. So this side of each of these double swatches is where I cleaned off the felt tip applicator after it ran through the eyeshadow. So you can see each one of those is a little bit darker on one side than the other side, and that's simply because the felt tip applicator soaked up some of the shadow and made the liner darker itself. But it only soaked up that pigment enough for one little line and then it was gone again. So I don't know. You're gonna get the felt tip applicator dirty, but at least it's gonna work. In other words, I say all of that to say maybe if you have dark shades on the lid, skip on using the lighter shade eyeliners and just use the darker eyeliner. Unless you just don't mind your felt tip being dirty. Some people don't. That's up to you. I do. Oh, very sharp, and that pigment comes out as soon as it touches the skin. I just love new eyeliners. Wow, that is going on so smooth. It's a pretty thin line too. And so far, I've got no feathering, and I've got a pretty textured eyelid. Especially this right eyelid, this is usually the one that feathers, but I don't see anything running. I'm so thoroughly impressed with this freaking eyeliner. The entire time I was running across the lid, not once did I have to clean my applicator off on the back of my hand and get it all wet again, which is normally what I have to do with felt tips, hence why I hate using felt tips and I love brush tips. But this is a good felt tip. Granted, it's new. It might not be the greatest after a while, but right now I'm loving that. While the outer corner of that eyeliner is still just a little bit tacky, I'm gonna use the same brush I was using in the darker purpley shade, whatever it was, and just sort of blend out that edge so it's not a sharp wing shape, just because it's kind of useless in that area to be sharp anyway, so I'd rather it be blended, and then on the edges it can be sharp again. Yes, yes. That's cute. I like that. We got a wing, we got some purple, we got some black, we got some green. That is so cute. Lashes are curled. Now let's test out the Beachproof Mascara. So I've tried the Fuckproof Mascara, but I didn't even know that he had a second mascara. When he was talking about this one on the launch video and he was like, now introducing our third mascara. I was like, what? Where's the second one? Turns out it was the Jeffree Star approved mascara. I didn't even know that was a thing. When was that a thing? When did that come out? When did he announce that or release that? Do you guys know? Let me know in the comments if you have any idea, because I didn't know it existed until he announced this one. Got a nice curved wand, got quite a bit of control. Because of that curve, I can really get into those roots, add product, and then pull it through. I'm trying to think of a mascara that this is kind of comparable to, or at least what the wand is comparable to, but I can't immediately think of one. It's got the curve like Benefit Roller Lash has, so that's really helping with grabbing the lashes and pulling product through, so it helps with lengthening. But because the bristles are so close together, and because the brush is a thicker brush, it's helping add more volume than what the Roller Lash does. So it's kind of like Roller Lash plus volume. My lashes are definitely elongated. They look a little fuller, a little thicker. Can you see the difference between both sides? I know now that I have a full eyeshadow look on with a lot of black in it, it's probably not going to be very visible, but they are definitely longer looking and fuller looking. Now both sides of lashes are done. Not gonna lie, I kind of really like this mascara. I feel like it's more of a cute girl, classier mascara, if that makes any kind of sense. You know, the Fuckproof has fibers, so it's super volumizing, and it gives your lashes that like, I'm here kind of vibe, you know? These lashes look clean, polished, very black, but you can see the individual hairs. It's my kind of mascara, in other words. But now we get to move on to all of the face makeup. So before we go in with the SPF and the Vampire Blur and Cool Primer, I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the eyes, maybe put lashes on. I haven't decided yet, but I'll decide while I'm doing that off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I changed my mind. I'm not going to wear lashes because I just want to show off my lashes with the Beachproof Mascara, because I like the way they look. Now that the eye makeup is pretty much done, we can move on to the face. The first product for the face is the Gothic Beach Facial Sunscreen. This is SPF 30, and I didn't put on SPF this morning specifically to use this SPF, so I'm really excited to see if it leaves a white cast, if it smells good, if it looks good. Oh, it's clear. So that is the SPF. Kind of immediately looks like the unseen SPF. I think it's Supergoop that makes the unseen, but it's clear. Oh, this smells amazing. I smell a little bit of SPF, but it has some kind of sweet smell that offsets the SPF smell. What is that banana? That was quite a pleasant experience. There is no white cast to the skin at all. In fact, I don't think it's possible for it to leave a white cast because it's not white, it's clear. It smells amazing. It's SPF 30. My skin looks super blurred, kind of mattified too, which I don't love, but the blurred I do love. Funny enough, it just looks like I put on a pore blurring primer and that was it. Our second face product is the Vampire Blur and Cool Face Stick. I think this is gonna come in so handy on the days that I pluck my brows. Normally, I'm left a little red and inflamed, you might say, after a brow plucking day, and I think this would help greatly on those days. I feel like it would just get me ready to be able to go out the door much faster than what I have to wait right now, because I literally have to wait until my skin stops being so red and like inflamed looking, because you know I just ripped out thousands of hairs from them, or I grab the pizza rolls from the freezer and hold those to my face for, I don't know, like 5 minutes. But if I could just take a stick and roll it across my face, that would be amazing. I'm only putting it on the parts of my face that have rather large pores and texture. I can feel the cooling effect immediately, but it's not like I thought it was gonna be cold. It's not really that bad. It just feels like kind of like you sprayed your face with a setting spray and it's in the process of drying. That's kind of what it feels like. It does feel kind of thick, which that's good. I'll take that because that means it actually is blurring. I don't feel anything peeling up off the skin, which is really nice since I just laid it down. Face feels really smooth and it looks that way too. Now I can tell it hasn't filled everything to where I've got just like a solid flat layer. I can still see my pores, but everything looks a little more blurred, a little more seamless, a little softer. I think we are now good on the priming products. I'm gonna go off camera, go ahead and finish all my face makeup, and I'll come back. We can use the highlighter and I'll give you guys my final thoughts on the Gothic Beach collection from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. The look is almost completely finished. Now we just need some highlighter. If you've never used this formula before, this is a very glittery, flaky formula. So if you have a bunch of powder on your face and you use just a brush and you try to go in this and apply it directly to the face with nothing tacky or nothing wet or not using your finger or anything, you're gonna get glitter in other places. It's gonna be one of those kind of powders that just kind of fluff and the glitter starts going in the air and it lightly, gently falls across all of the rest of your everything forever. So we are first going to spray some wetting proof setting spray all over the face. Now I should just have a slightly tacky base, and I think I'm gonna try the Glimmer of Hope shade in the middle. Hopefully it'll be a nice mix of both of them. It picks up really nicely on the brush. There's a lot of flakes right there. Now with this formula, again, instead of just going in and like swiping and sliding, I'm just gonna gently press and pat first. That way I can sort of start to place down all these glitter pieces. Oh, but it's gorgeous. Ooh. At this point, we've got a subtle, cute, lit from within kind of glow. So I'm gonna take my finger into Bloodsucker Bling, and that's gonna go just on the highest point of the cheekbones. I wanna show you how intense this will get. Look at that highlight. Look at that on my finger. That's like a mirror finish. It looks like chrome nail polish. And take a little bit straight down the center of the nose and a little bit on the Cupid's bow. Oh wow, on top of that black lipstick, that was a lot. Oops. Maybe a little bit on the chin, a little bit on the tip of the nose, just the tip. Then last step, we're gonna re-dampen our sponge a little bit, re-dampen our face a little bit, and now we can take our damp sponge on our damp-ish face and just press that highlighter in so it doesn't look like it's sitting on top of the skin. Because I will say the Extreme Frost formula looks like it's just sitting on top of the skin until you press it in or blend it in. It's just such an intense formula that I feel like it needs a little bit of finessing to make it not just look like chunky, flaky, glittery highlight. But that's kind of exactly what it is, you know? That's how it's able to be such an intense highlight too. I mean, that's amazing. Speaking of amazing, I'm gonna add just the tiniest bit of Bloodsucker Bling right to the brow bone because it's too cute not to. Now I just want to do one last thing to finish this look off. I put on the black lipstick with the it looks like I've got a milk mustache. Put on the black lipstick with the intention of putting an eyeshadow shade on top, and I think I want to use Umbrella Attitude. I feel like that's just gonna go with the look so well. Plus it's all glittery and sparkly, so it's really cute. Yeah, that is great. Oh wow, it's sort of making it just look like Purple Hollow because the shade is already so dark. Aside from the mess I just made, you've got to admit that is super cute. I've now discovered if you are going to apply a very dark, very powdery, very glittery eyeshadow to a lipstick, maybe make sure the lipstick is tacky beforehand. I will say though, aside from the fact that I just had to clean up a huge mess under my lips, that purple shade on top of this black lipstick is everything I wanted and more. It's sparkly, it's got dimension, it's still matte black around the edges, but we have that intense purpley glitter everywhere else. I wish you could see what it looks like in person. It is so good. But now that we've added the purple lip, this is the entirety of the look using the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Gothic Beach collection. What do you guys think? You already know I love it. It's not like I expected really anything bad. I already know and love the Jeffree Star Cosmetics eyeshadow formula, so it's really just a matter of what color story has he come out with and am I going to enjoy it. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, the palette is much more rich than it seems like it is online. Maybe if some of the people who took photos of it would up their contrast, it would look a little closer to what you see in person, but it is a very rich color story. It's got a lot of depth to it, just not a whole lot of lightness. So like I was talking about earlier, being able to blend out this inner corner, being able to only use the anti-sunburn and don't be a beach. Those are your two highlighting shades, unless you want to highlight with Beach Ball Breaker, the green shade. Well, I guess you could also use the Oh Buoy shade, the pastel-y purple. That's light enough to highlight with too. It's just hard to highlight with a purple and a green because you've got to use shades that are kind of close to that or the opposite of that. It's just a little bit harder to make them cohesive if you use them to highlight with. With that being said, I feel like this is going to be kind of a hard palette for a lot of people to work with. I mean, if you take out the middle row, you've essentially got a nude palette with a lot of shimmers. And for me, that's the only thing I don't really like. I would have preferred an entire palette full of shades like this and that one. I actually really like that shade. I didn't think I would, but it kind of reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick, just a darker version of it. So for this first look, I feel like it was fun to kind of branch out, do something that I wouldn't have normally done, because I feel like going forward with this palette, it's gonna be nude, dark, and pops of purple. Today was pops of green, but I feel like pops of purple is what I'm gonna do more often than not. When it comes to the Gothic Diamonds highlighter palette, you know, I love this formula, yes, but these shades in here, I feel like he could have just done these two and made the palette a little cheaper rather than including a third one that has both of those shades mixed in with it. I don't like that. I don't understand the point of it. Just use those two shades and mix up your own shade. You know, it's the same thing as having this one. Or even better than that, if you don't want to spend the money on this, if he still has this on his website, just get the Extreme Frost Choking on Ice. It's a very, very similar tone, like a blue-based purple with a white base. It's pretty much the same thing. Or you can get Lick My Glit if you want one that's kind of close, but more of a pinky purple instead of a blue-based purple. Let's see what else. The Gothic Beach Facial Sunscreen. I freaking love this stuff, and I'm gonna use this every day until I'm out and probably buy more. It's clear, it doesn't leave a white cast on the skin, it fills and blurs pores, and it smells amazing. The Vampire Blur and Cool Face Stick, you know, I think because the SPF was so blurring, I couldn't tell or didn't know for sure if it was this that was adding extra blur to my skin or if I was already so blurred from the SPF that this didn't do anything or I didn't even need to do this. But I did feel the cooling effect from this. And like I said before, I feel like I'm going to appreciate this more after I pluck my brows because I can put it over those areas and cool that skin down very quickly. But that might not even be what I use it for in the long term. But so far I liked it. I just can't say if I love it, you know? The eyeliners, if they all perform like the black did, they're all really great quality then. The only thing I don't like is we have 3 pastels and 1 black in a Gothic collection. I feel like we needed some more vivid colors, especially since Jeffree Star loves to do this thing where he will launch like 5 of a product, aka retractable eyeliners, in one collection, tease us with how good said product is, and then never launch anymore. You hear me, Jeffree? Because I would have loved some retractable eyeliners with some of our recent collections. Anyway, just the pastels, I don't think they're really gonna work too great on top of the dark shades without you getting the felt tip applicator super, super dirty. So for me, personally, I'm gonna be using these without any other makeup or with pastel or really light shades of makeup. Then the black, of course, I can use on anything I want, so it doesn't really matter. And finally, the Beachproof Mascara. This gives me, like I said, Roller Lash vibes, and Roller Lash is definitely one of my top 3 mascaras. This just gives more volume than Roller Lash does, but just as much lengthening as Roller Lash does. So I would pick this one over Roller Lash, which is saying a lot because I've always loved me some Roller Lash, but I'm very happy with this one. Now I just have to try the Jeffree Star approved mascara and I'll be able to pick which one out of the 3 is my favorite. Well, now that we talked about the mascara, that is it for this entire collection. So what did you guys think of the review? Let me know down in the comments. Let's talk about it. You guys know that I'm always hanging out down there with you, just chilling, just talking, so let's talk. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean the world to me if you wanted to give me a thumbs up just to let me know that you did. Also, if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!